Well, wow, what a performance, everyone. The Thompson Warriors repeat as Class 7A state champions. They take down Opelika tonight 48-10, and they've won their sixth state championship in the last 7 years. Officially, guys, I think a dynasty at this point, if it wasn't already. We've got Tyler Rayleigh, we've got Daniel Locke. We've all been here covering the game. Andrew hard at work right now getting the story up with the photos. We'll have some video coming up in a little while, but we wanted to give our instant reaction to what we just saw unfold, and it was dominant from start to finish. Thompson came out, set a tone early in this game, and you look at the defensive effort that they came out and played with right from the bat. You could tell this was going to be a physical game from the defense, and the offense came out, marched right down the field the first couple of possessions. Ended with field goals early. It was 6-0, but from that point forward, touchdowns the rest of the way. And really the only momentum, guys, came late in the first half. A big kick return from Opelika set them up to have a chance to score. They ultimately get a field goal, but then right out of the gate in the second half, a pick six from Trent McCorvey. They go right in, score another touchdown, and then the offense takes over from there. They dominate start to finish 48-10, and get this, 522 yards of offense for the Thompson Warriors, 115 for Opelika. Tyler, I'll start with you. We were down here field level for the entire game. Got a good presence, a good feel for early in this game, just how physical Thompson was going to be on the defensive side, but also how easy it was to move the ball offensively as well.
Well, I think what we saw throughout the season and throughout this postseason was that the job's not finished. Yeah. Mark Freeman preached that to his team all season long, and especially after that semifinals, most people thought that was the state championship, when in reality, you've got to come in Birmingham and play your brand of ball as well. And I thought they did a very good job of that. They entertained themselves throughout the first half. And, we saw, although they were up in a dominant first half performance, Trent McCorvey's pick six really kind of put the nail in the coffin to start the third quarter out.
Yeah, I mean, you get to that point and you see Opelika just get a little bit of confidence going into the half. And, I mean, still Thompson's defense stood up tall to end the half, forcing the field goal, and then comes out with the pick six, complete flip of momentum, all in their favor at that point. You felt it was over at that point in the game. And, Daniel, your first time getting to come out here and enjoy a state championship game as well tonight. What impressed you most about what you saw from Thompson's performance from start to finish tonight?
What impressed me the most about their performance from start to finish was really the fact that it was from start to finish. From opening kickoff to final whistle, Mark Freeman's squad did not let up, and they left no stone unturned, and they got the job done in every aspect of the game.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, is they got the job done in every facet. It was complete football, and this is a team where it felt like in the playoffs they started to play their best football, but that complete finish to the season, they really, I think, against Central Phoenix City in the semifinals, the big play that Junior James made there to get the Warriors to this position, to me, Tyler, that was kind of the tipping point, that this team's not just a good team, not just a state championship team. They're one of the greats, and they're one of the ones that were deserving of continuing this dynasty and this legacy here that they built.
Well, and what was funny was that throughout the season, you saw this Thompson, and we looked at them and thought, this team is good. They're not great. And then they get to the postseason, and Mark Freeman shows up like he always does. He is, we think, the GOAT when it comes to the postseason play. And I think when you see that defense, the way they performed in the first two rounds against Carver Montgomery and Mary G. Montgomery, for them to come out and do a replica of that tonight really stood out. And I think this Thompson team, man, it's just hard to fathom how they continue to do greatness. But as most of their team, most of their players are in the Raising Champions program, and that's a complete shout out to them and all they do. And so I just think Mark Freeman's got to be impressed with what he saw tonight.
When I was joking with defensive coordinator Sean DeFore as he walked off the field too, that you give him and Coach Freeman a week and a half to prepare for a game and get his guys ready, that's just impossible. I mean, they are two of the best coaches in the state at their respective callings, offense and defense, and they had the perfect game plan tonight. And we saw it early offensively as they moved the ball right down the field, and we saw the physical tone defensively as well. And Andrew, Daniel, that's what I want to ask you. So used to doing this with Andrew, guys. Y'all going to have to catch me there. But Daniel, that's what I want to ask you. Field level, I could see early the defensive tone that they were trying to set in this game. Every tackle they made, they were following through. They were laying down a couple of extra seconds there on top of the offensive player. They were trying to set a physical tone. Was that something from your vantage point that you noticed early, but just overall in general, the defensive effort tonight and how impressive it was.
Yeah, we noticed that up in the press box and over at the Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport. They noticed that too. That's how dominant of a performance that Thompson came out here with. And yeah, start to finish, defense was on.
Yeah, it took maybe 2 seconds of any planes flying by over the stadium and landing at the airport to realize just what was happening here at Protective Stadium. And from start to finish, like you said, Daniel, a few minutes ago, just an overall incredible performance. MVP Trent Seaborn, 16 of 27, 259 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, had a couple of key runs as well to get some extra yardage just all night. He dealt with an early injury, was able to come back after a couple of plays and get back on the field. And he led his team. You could tell at that moment, and I texted Andrew in the press box, that the entire team, after that injury, they came up to him. They know how key he is. They know what a leader he is. But Tyler, first with you, and then Daniel, I'll turn to you. Talk about the leadership and the qualities of a veteran quarterback when you've got a guy that's played in several state championships like that. For Trent Seaborn to come out and play as lights out as he did, but also keep his team composed coming into this game to be ready to start fast and continue that strong start throughout the game as well.
Well, I think it really starts with, and the last time I covered a state championship game was when Trent Seaborn was an 8th grader. They played at Jordan Hare Stadium in Auburn, and they beat the Auburn High School Tigers in that game pretty comfortably. Yeah. And what I saw in that game when he was an 8th grader was composure and leadership and all the aspects you need to lead a team like Thompson. Well, he came out here and did the same thing tonight, and he just looks better. The year-by-year progression for him, it makes us realize what it takes to be an SEC caliber quarterback. Yeah. And obviously, he is committed to the University of Alabama, one of the flagship programs.
I know that was tough for you to get out of your mouth.
I know, right? But I think what I've noticed in Trent all year long is that he communicates with his guys really well. He stays calm, cool, and collected no matter how hot the moment gets. And I think he is molded into one of the greatest quarterbacks, if not the greatest quarterback this state has ever seen, and he proved it once again here tonight.
Yeah, he's easily a front runner, a strong candidate for Mr. Football, which we'll hand out here a little bit down the road as well. MVP of the state championship game, played as and early on in this game, Daniel, one thing that kind of stood out to me is the deep ball. They weren't able to connect on it, but he kept hitting the passes that he needed to move the chains. They were able to run the football early, which I think was a huge key because this is a team that hasn't run the ball consistently throughout the year. They haven't been bad all the time, but they haven't been consistent in that facet. But they continue. They ran the ball well, and they continued to find the passes that they need. And then after the pick six to start the second half, have a big passing play as well. But just overall, talk about the composure to continue to stay strong and the performance that we saw from Seaborn leading the team tonight here to get Thompson the state championship.
Yeah, so when I covered Thompson's game against Prattville earlier in the season, I vividly remember jotting down in my notes, poise, and I underlined it 3 times. Nothing gets to them. It doesn't matter because in that game they were down 10-0 in the second quarter, I think. They didn't panic. They went right back on offense. They did what they needed to do. The pass wasn't working as well as they wanted it to at points in this game. They kept with it, and they kept that poise, and they ended up getting the air attack to work, and the scoreboard speaks for itself.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the poise started a week and a half ago against Central Phoenix City, and losing some of the adversity or losing some of the momentum in that game, facing adversity and punching it right in the mouth and finishing and closing that game. That was the hump they needed to get over to win a state championship this year. Not necessarily win, but dominate a state championship like they did tonight, and they showed that tonight. This was a team that was clicking on all cylinders. They were at their peak. You hear about teams peaking early. You hear about them peaking at the right time. I don't know that the right time is ever in the actual state championship game. Seems impossible, but they saved their best game of the season for last in this dominant effort. And closing thoughts here real quick. Tyler, I want to end with you on this note because you talked with him earlier in the week. What Mark Freeman has done at this program, and you can talk about all the great players that come in here. A lot of teams have some really good players. You look at Hoover, you look at Central Phoenix City, you look at Auburn. They've got the best players in the state on those teams. A lot of teams have that. What he's been able to do consistently and what he's able to do at this time of year, go back to your conversation with him earlier in the week on the red zone and then follow up what this truly means and just what it means for the history books of football in this state when it comes to the top coaches that have ever done it in Alabama.
Well, it is about keeping your team accountable. And for Freeman, he's been all about the prep work. That has been his MO throughout the year. They are always looking to go 1-0 every week, every single day in practice, and he pushes them. He pushes them to their limits. That's what makes them better players. And I think we saw that what he said in the red zone was that, I mean, they were looking forward to going out and getting another 48 minutes to play football. And that's exactly what they got here tonight. They went out, played a full 48 minutes of football, and they dominated every single aspect of the game. And I just think when you look at some of these players that he has developed, I can't go this year or this postseason at all without mentioning the work that DeMonte Tab did.
Another interception tonight.
I mean, he had the vast majority of his interceptions from this season in the postseason.
Yeah.
And it is just amazing to see how these guys get progressively better game after game, week after week. And I think that's just a testament to what Mark Freeman does as a developer and his history of state championships. It's just unmatched. And I think what Thompson has is special 6 and 7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it is unfathomable what he has done here. And I think Thompson and the city of Alabaster are going to go out and they're going to really party tonight.
Yeah, my wife, who is a second grade teacher, will cringe at the 6-7. I mean, you can't not do it. They've been doing it since they won tonight. Really, with a quarter to go, they were doing it. They've won 6 championships in the last 7 years. It's unbelievable. Seemed fitting that would happen this year with that viral thing going around. So just an unbelievable effort from Thompson tonight. 48-10, Class 7A state champions. This is a dynasty, and I don't think it's going anywhere. They've got a ton of talent coming back next year as well. Obviously, Seaborn's going to be back. He's going to have some top receivers to throw to. They're going to have a better running game, in my opinion, because you're going to have some returning guys ready to make a difference next year as well. So, and the defense, we know they're not going anywhere as well. So this is a team. They win it again, 2 in a row, 6 of the last 7. The dynasty is in effect. The Thompson Warriors, your 2025 Class 7A state champions. So excited to see that for the Warriors. Thanks to Alabaster City Schools for sponsoring all of our coverage tonight, the pregame show, the postgame show, what you're about to see here in just a few minutes, our story, photos, postgame video. We're going to have tons of Instagram photos and everything as well. So make sure you're following along. We're going to have it tonight. If you go to bed, don't worry, it'll be there when you get up in the morning. Special email as well from the Shelby County Reporter. But follow us on all of our platforms. We're going to have some great content still to come for you later tonight. But that's going to do it for Tyler Rayleigh, Daniel Locke. I'm Alec Etheridge. The Thompson Warriors, your 2025 Class 7A state champions.